I would literally run to the TV to watch my favorite child stars. And all I could ever think was, I want to be them. Kids TV. Not made by kids, but just innocent enough. Though it seems now that the innocence is a facade.
He looks great. He's the creator of iCarly and Victorious and all that, and Amanda Show and Drake and Josh and
every successful kids show you've ever heard of.
So we're just honored to be invited.
Recently, the media has been talking about the effects of child acting and the effects of Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider, the guy who produced and wrote most of the highly successful children's shows for major company Nickelodeon. He seemed like such a major talent, making art for kids. As a kid, the jokes were funny and nothing seemed abnormal until... Not only is this strange, but this is unsafe for the children watching it and for the children performing it. How do they feel about this? And when I got older, I started to realize this isn't just jokes. This is actually degrading. To our upset, we find out what happened on Dan Schneider's sets. Adults who shouldn't have access to children had access to children. He was accused of racism, sexism, verbal abuse, harassment, and overall creating a toxic environment on set. Drake Bell suffering on the set of all that. Bell's co-star Amanda Bynes seemed to be the next big thing. After getting discovered at the Laugh Factory, she went on to go and get a role on All That, one of the big hot hit TV shows. And then, from her rise to fame, she ended up getting her own show, The Amanda Show. Everything seemed fine for her, until she got addicted to substances. And it seemed like her world collapsed around her. The media criticized her, and she couldn't escape her childhood. It seems that the life that was sold to these child actors has disappeared. It has crumbled at their feet. Everything that they were promised, the lifestyle, the money, the fame, it seems to not be beneficial. And that made me question, how does the child star benefit? What is the effect on a child of being the spectacle? Child actors have always been a spectacle. They mean a lot to society. To see a young child on screen is cathartic, and hearing a young child not understand the jokes they're performing on stage may seem a bit funny. The child star is ingrained into pop culture, but they don't get to experience the idea of a normal childhood because of their status as a performer. This brought me back in time to the historical lineage of child stardom in film. How were the most popular child starlets treated in a non-filtered, fresh film industry that was only in the spring of its lifetime? By 1934, Temple was one of Hollywood's top child stars. She received a Special Academy Award for her outstanding contribution to screen entertainment. Shirley Temple's first ever credited role is War Babies, where she played a prostitute. In this film, she kisses, gets groped, wears sexually revealing costumes, and this rose her to fame. 1936 film Poor Little Rich Girl. There are plenty of scenes where Temple is being fondled by grown men, and through that entire film you can see the early Hollywood pedophilia that is baked into its conception. At the age of 12, MGM producer Arthur Freed exposed himself to her. Years later, at the age of 17, Temple was made a victim again by producer David Schnelzik, attempting to sexually assault her. She went on to be in 40 films and had her own merchandise and became a child star that would reign forever. But only later in life did she get to tell her true story.
I said, Mom, you won't believe what happened to me. And I told her what happened, and she got kind of quiet. She said, well, you don't know what happened to me.
Both her and her mom were exposed to the harsh realities of the entertainment industry. In Sex Brats and Sextuplets, Palmer explores the mistreatment of child stars, but on reality television. Palmer reports that television shows children as main characters to enforce gender roles and a stereotypical version of childhood and family. She recognizes that female child actors are used as props for sexual quips. Female child actors are often used as a tool for misleading jokes because of the ever-changing appearances of growing children. She speaks to how stories often fit into the ideal of a modern American family. Children who do not fit into the idea of heteronormativity or desirability in society are ignored. Child stars are so integrated into pop culture that they get into things way too early. This is Drew Barrymore, drinking, smoking, and going to clubs before she could even turn into a teenager. She was 13 when she was rehabilitated for drugs and alcohol. Child stars are put into compromising positions from standards caused by society. These standards are a real harm to adolescents and can cause depression and low self-esteem. Child stars cannot seek protection because of their lack of authority and ability to consent. Children don't have any control over how the world perceives them and their parents.
The relationship between parent and child is important, especially to the child starlet. In childhood celebrity, parental attachment, and adult adjustment, we find that young performers whose parents served as their professional managers viewed their mothers as less caring and more over-controlling than performers whose parents were not their managers. This has to do with the fact that mothers tend to be managers more than fathers, but other factors affect the quality of parent-child relationship, like dissatisfaction with money management, poor peer support, the perception that involvement in acting was determined by others, and the specific nature of professional experience. Child stars don't have guaranteed safety like a child should, and because their surroundings are catered to the adults making them money, they're put in an uncomfortable situation. And that's exactly why we need social workers on set. Why can't we have 2 social workers on set that hold the adults accountable, hold the adults working on set accountable, and gives the child someone to go to if they ever have anything go bad with them? Why can't we have someone who's literally a mandated reporter on set?
If happy little bluebirds fly